deployed there in the Army. We moved to Virginia when I was 11 years old, and he was assigned to the Pentagon. I grew up in Northern Virginia. I went to public school there and went to college there. It is my home. I've witnessed the growth which has brought about economic prosperity to the region. But I know all too well that while economic prosperity exists for some, there are many who struggle. You see, I was homeless at the age of 16. I lived in a shelter for a time during high school, and let me tell you, losing your home takes a toll on anyone, especially a child who is trying to finish school. Even with access to a shelter, everything suffers because your life is uprooted. This can happen to anyone, and as many learned during the Great Recession, all it takes is a downturn in the economy to land a family in the street. I was one of the lucky ones. A program called STEP got me to college at George Mason University. They looked at all the circumstances of my life. I was more than just a number to them, and the program gave me the chance to prove that I could succeed in college. That is the experience that sparked a desire in me to serve. From there, I engaged with advocacy, determined to give a voice to a people who did not always have one in the halls of power. I worked as a citizen advocate with organizations like Social Action Linking Together and the Virginia chapter of the National Organization for Women. One of the most thrilling things that I saw was working with legislators, and I was in my early 20s, and watching the Homeless Intervention Act passed. They turned an idea into reality, and that program still exists today in Virginia. My first job was as a volunteer in service to America. I was placed at Good Shepherd Housing and Family Services, where I worked as a fundraiser for the organization, Helps Web, and the Virginia Legislative District. I'm the first African-American woman from Northern Virginia ever to be elected in that legislature. So to me, this means we need to fight for education from early childhood through technical school and college. It also means that we as a country should not be using our students as a means to collect revenue. A proposal in Congress to raise $185 billion in profit from students over the next decade is not the way we're going to grow our economy or stay competitive in the global economy. And we can bail out bank businesses. Surely we can work together to make college more affordable and make college and job training and opportunity accessible to everyone. We also need a voice in Washington that's going to fight for equality and diversity. We need a voice in Congress that will fight for our values. Republicans in Congress are doing the same. Get the dialogue started talking about SOL here in Virginia, about marriage equality here in Virginia. That's what it's about. I am proud to have my work been recognized with endorsements by the National Organization for Women and the Feminist Majority Foundation. National Organization for Women, I have to share with y'all, are very special to me because in my early 20s, those are the women that took me to the Virginia legislature and taught me about policy in Virginia. They are very dear to my heart, and I encourage every young woman to join them. They are a powerful force, especially here in Virginia.
Thank you.
We also need someone ready to fight for our district from day one. The 8th Congressional District has many unique features, and one of those is our proximity to DC. Our economy is deeply connected to the federal government. Our friends and neighbors work for the government, they're contractors, or provide services. With sequestration and shutdown, the economy of Northern Virginia felt the effects. We need someone who is willing to both fight hard and work across the aisle to protect families that make up the region's economy. As a daughter of an Army officer, I can say this goes doubly so for our men and women in uniform and the families that are serving with them. I have the experience and the energy to serve in Congress, and let me tell you, I know what it's like to serve in a dysfunctional Republican-controlled legislature. Remember, the General Assembly, I meet the Republicans head-on and push back on their attempts to invade a woman's right to privacy, make it harder to vote, and their attempts to harm our public schools. But I also do know how to find common ground and work across the aisle on issues. Whether it be convincing a Republican-controlled committee to help me reform the bail bond industry, which passed 3 years ago, and I'm very proud of that. Enhance the effectiveness of emergency protective orders. And this year working to reform ethics And with the Republican, I worked with him and we actually established the electronic bed registry here in Virginia. I am ready to work, and I would love to have you join me in my campaign. I'm Charniele Herring, and if you live in the 8th District, I ask for your vote on June 10th. Thank you so much.